everyone. Today we have the CEO of Action Plus, a special guest, Fred. How you doing, Fred?
Hello, hi. Good to see you today.
Good, good. Today we're going to be asking you some questions, just getting some answers for our viewers. All right.
Okay.
So, first question is, what is Action Plus?
Action Plus is a faith-based organization which is based here in the UK and in Ghana. In the UK, we have branches across London and Luton. In Ghana too, we work with the local organizations that deal with HIV issues, because we have been able to set up this foundation to address the issue of HIV. So yeah, that is who I am, and that's what Action Plus is about.
Great, great. Can you tell us what caused you to start Action Plus?
Yeah, it's a very long story. As you know already, we have operated for the past 21 years here in UK and in Ghana. So the story definitely will be a very long story. But just to cut the long story very short, briefly, I personally started Action Plus on my own, and it just happened when we were doing a lot of programs, activities for SADC, because this is where our church was based. And in our church, we believe that the community is part of the mission work that we are called to do. So when we do our church faith, worship and fellowship and everything, we give back to the community. So here in SADC, we were working with the local organizations who were dealing with issues like teenage pregnancy, substance abuse and alcohol, drugs. In the south, this is the main problem that we have. So we used to address all these issues, and then we came also to start off with HIV, because we realized that HIV was prevalent here in SADC, and according to the statistics that we have, SADC is the second highest HIV prevalent community in the whole of UK. So when we got to realize that this was a very big issue here in SADC, we decided that we will close down all the other areas that we were addressing and then focus on the HIV work here in SADC, so that we will be able to support the community to be able to prevent the infection from spreading.
Great, great. Can you tell us about the history of Action Plus?
Yeah, basically I've just said a little bit about that. We started as a church really, and then we added the charity also to it, to make it a holistic ministry. A very successful ministry should have both the faith background and also the community-based background as well, to be able to give people the support that they need. So we as Action Plus have made it our mandate that we will always make what we can make to change things in the system, because we are addressing HIV issues, and looking at the statistics of HIV infection in the country, we know that men who sleep with men, the gay community have the highest of the prevalence, and then it's seconded by the African community, the Black African community. And mostly these African community, which I'm part of, most of them have come to UK here to work. So all that they do is they go to work in the morning, come back in the evening, eat, sleep, wake up in the morning. So they don't have anything to do, most of them, during the working days from Monday to Friday. So all they do is that they focus on their ambition. So they don't have time to read, they don't have time sometimes to even listen to news and all that. So we thought that we have the congregation. The congregation are the risk community that we have, and most of them go to church. And when they go to church, they hear from the Bible, and they also want to hear other things happening. So we were able to slot in the HIV, intervention, to be able to do some models that will help us to, educate them well, for them to understand what HIV is about. Because most of them, especially the hierarchy, the church, the ministers, the pastors, most of them at that time they didn't know much about the infection, and they took it to be something very different. They thought that it was a curse, because with them, they only know that, HIV is just something that is to be dealt with sex. And if somebody can get HIV, which means the person is leading a promiscuous lifestyle, you might be going around, sleeping with men and women. So God have cursed people that do that kind of thing with HIV. So most of them didn't want to talk about HIV at all. If God have cursed people, then who am I to redress it? So even some of members of the congregation who were infected were thrown out of church. And some even thought that because it's a curse, the only thing they can do to support people with HIV is to pray for them to get their healing. So even people that are taking a treatment for one way or the other, the reason is that they want them to be prayed for, so that the curse will be broken. So some of these people stop taking their treatment, and once they stop taking their medication, some of them die, and it has been a very big issue here in the South. So we were able to address the situation by getting the understanding of the pastors. As we train them, we give them the understanding, they open their door for us, and we are able, as an organization, to set up HIV centers. Centers where we do testing, and we get people tested, and then we get them to be able to get their treatment. And this was the first time any organization have ever done that in the country. And with that, we have seen a lot of progress, a lot of things that have happened because of what we have done, which really has opened door for HIV prevention work to be done here in the country. And it was our idea, which we brought in from Africa, from Ghana, because this is a model that we ourselves have developed for our intervention. So yeah, this is what we have done, and this is what we believe that we will continue to do.
Great. Next question. What are the main goals of Action Plus? What do you hope to achieve?
Yeah, our goals, we've set a lot of goals, and most of them is to get people tested, because HIV prevention goes with testing. You can never know who is infected with the virus until the person is tested. The virus can live in your body for 10 years, and you can live a normal life. Nobody will see it. It doesn't show on your face. But as it keeps on breaking your immune system, then your life is at risk. So early testing is very paramount to HIV prevention. And that's why we have, over the years, made up our mind to set up these clinics, open them, in the church, at the place where people who are at risk congregate, so that we can get them tested earlier than it is too late. And so our main focus is get people tested so they can get their treatment when they need it, so that we can save more lives. And also, we believe that young people like you, you only have heard about HIV, but HIV was prevalent, in the initial stages we are fortunate that we were able to live to see people who have advanced in their infection when they had AIDS. You know, these days we don't see AIDS, but we could see people walking like sticks, you know, like skeletons all over the place. You know, so it's a very, dangerous situation that we don't want it to reoccur. And so we have this project we do in Africa, which we have also opened one in Lewisham called the Youth Empowerment Center. And in this center, we really want to, you know, train young people like you to know more about HIV, and then we allow them to go out there as peer educators to educate their peers, and also we send them forth as ambassadors so they can be able to talk more about HIV. And finally, our goal is to support people who are living with HIV actually, because the stigma is still there. There are people who have been abandoned by their families, you know, some of them even, the church can't even take them in, you know. So we do support people living with HIV, we counsel them, you know, sometimes they need somebody to talk to them, and that is what we do. We pray for them, and many people have really enjoy our services because it is helping us to revive those who are really in this type of difficulties. So basically this is our aim. Our aim is to make sure that HIV prevalence is gone completely low, and then people don't get infected, and those who are dealing with it also we support.
Well, I hope that you achieve that goal.
Yes.
Hopefully. Final question. How do you hope our audience supports you? What do you want our audience to do to support you?
Yeah, every charity is not for profit. So you're not supposed to make money out of your charity work. And so you have yourself to know that you are at risk if you don't have funding. And we have been able to, you know, pioneer this project, and we have been able to sustain it from 1997 till now. We received just one-off grant sometime, for 6 months, and once the grant is gone, the project is done, then we are still marking time. And we have people who sometimes donate into our coffers to support it, but it's very little. We haven't gotten one single organization, a fund organization that have funded us probably even for 1 year. We haven't gotten that one yet. But we are now up there, you know, and doing what we call to do, and the work is growing. You know, this is not a locally based organization. It's national and international as well. You know, and it's not just doing it one time. It's everyday, you know, kind of engagement, and the services that we give to people is benefiting the community. So what we are looking forward now is to get partners, people who want to partner with us in a way. You can volunteer in any way, but all that we are looking is for especially people who donate to charities, you know, to come on board and join us. It's a human issue. HIV cannot infect even a chicken. It's a human issue. So we can all together, you know, move forward and build a very sustainable project to put this infection down. And as it is now, we are telling everybody who really want to really be part of our work to just come on board. Whatever you have that you think that you can give to us to be able to continue to do more than we have done, I think that it's about time that we get people coming.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that interview.
Bless you.